Leaving the studio, facing the elements, light and colors, this is the quest of plein air artists. They capture atmospheres, lighting effects, and tones they perceive during an ephemeral painting session. Greeting everyone and a warm welcome to my studio. I'm Alix Morel, a painter and printmaker artist. And in this podcast, we are going to delve deep into the world of art. I'll be sharing my artistic techniques, my sources of inspiration, and occasionally those moments of uncertainty that come with the creative process. Put on your apron and let's get started. Plein air painting is an artistic practice that I really love. While studio work, the easel painting allows for extended composition work, refining color harmony, and making a limited adjustment to the canvas, plein air painting is an artistic practice in pursuit of the instantaneous. And this is the challenge that motivates me to paint outdoor. But before delving further into my own practice, I'd like to provide a brief overview of the history of plein air painting. From the 18th century onward, painters began venturing out of their studios, primarily for drawing and gathering raw material, which they would later refine in their studios. The tradition of the Grand Tour and the desire to immortalize Italian landscapes, particularly the Campagna Romana, facilitated the development of plein air painting practice. The views of Roman ruins and the surrounding landscapes by Hubert Robert were composed from sketches made on location, subjects that they would serve him throughout his career. In 1799, the artist and theorist Pierre-Henri de Valenciennes wrote his treatise Element of Practical Perspective for Artists, followed by Reflection and Advice to a Student on Painting, especially on landscape painting. This work dedicated to composition, perspective, and color already foreshadows the spread of plein air painting practice. A precursor to plein air painting across the Channel, John Constable focused on capturing the English countryside landscape, both picturesque and lively, captured on the spot. In the following century, in continuation of the Grand Tour tradition, artists continued their quest for the instantaneous and light. In the Latium region, Kamikuro immortalized View of the Eternal City. In Naples, Edgar Degas painted the Vesuvius and its surroundings in watercolor, pastel or oil painting. Also worth mentioning is Louise Joséphine Sarrazin, one of the few women to practice plein air painting during that era. The invention of the easily transportable, flexible, and airtight paint tube, patented in London in 1841 by the American artist John Goffran, would greatly facilitate the practice of outdoor painting. Moreover, the Impressionist movement truly began to expand from 1874 onwards, when certain artists, notably Claude Monet, Auguste Renoir, Gustave Caillebotte, Camille Pissarro, and the American artist Mary Cassatt started exhibiting independently from the official salon. Plein air painting aimed to be a practice that promotes intellectual and aesthetic freedom. This is exemplified by the painter Berthe Morisot. Through her explorations of color and light, she said, to capture something of what passes. The artist conveyed numerous fleeting moments on canvas through the evanescence of her chromatic range and the strain of her brushwork. Today, plein air painting is a fully fledged artistic practice that brings together numerous artists. It is notably represented by the California School, active since the late 19th century. Initially inspired by the Barbizon School, it achieved aesthetic independence through pioneering artists like George Inness and James Abbott McNeill Whistler. In the 1890s, The Plein Air revival revitalized the school, which is now very active. David Hockney is also a plein air artist, as evidence, for example, by his monumental work Bigger Trees Near Water, which is preserved at Tate Britain in London. It is composed of 50 canvases joined together to create a total dimension of 5.4 by 12 meters. This artwork was created during Plein Air Painting session in Yorkshire in 2007. In France, the revival of plein air painting was initiated a few years ago, notably by the artist Anna Filimonova. In 2013, she founded the International Festival of Plein Air Painting, which has since drawn numerous artists from across the globe. This artistic event, sponsored by UNESCO, takes place every year with the motto of promoting and introducing the practice of plein air painting. I had the chance to be invited to this festival, which provides a unique chance to showcase our work and get in touch with fellow artists. Many of us being often too much confined to our studios. Yes, this is the counterpart of our great occupation. I discovered the practice of plein air painting when, still in my teens, I began to refine my skills in oil painting. I first became passionate about Impressionist artists, and especially Claude Monet. I later came across the works of Gustave Caillebotte, Auguste Renoir, but currently Berthe Morisot is certainly my favorite. These artists allow me to become familiar with theories related to color and composition. I began to shape my painting palette through the reproduction I discover in monographs. I started by painting outdoors alone, and as my career progressed, I met other artists also passionate about this practice. What challenged me is to capture atmosphere, lighting effects, and tone that I perceive during an ephemeral painting session. I like to work on various canvas sizes, from little to bigger ones, depending on the subject I decide to work on. What is important for me is to choose a limited range of colors before leaving my studio, and that to avoid taking too many. I find that having too many colors available can blur the inspiration. The basic palette I use consists of yellow and red ochres, sap green, English green, and ultramarine blue. Depending on the subject, I add other colors to bring dynamism to my composition, like Pozzoioli or Toscanos and some red and yellows. However, my guiding principle is always to start from a limited palette. To sum up, let's reflect on what we have seen about plein air painting. Since the 18th century, plein air artists have continued their quest for the instantaneous, adapting to different eras and artistic movements that have shaped history. In the footsteps of these artists, we, contemporary painters, continue these aesthetic explorations. I believe that the tradition of plein air painting is poised for a promising future. I hope you have enjoyed this podcast and that it has provided a fresh perspective on contemporary creation and on the history of art. Please leave your comment, and if you'd like to explore my work, let's connect on Instagram at alixmorelartiste or visit my website alixmorel.com. See you soon, and in the next episode we'll talk about Mokuhanga and Japan aesthetic.